POW1047.com, the future hip hop and R&B, your man Permiss. Mullyman live in the studio. Basics is in full effect. All right, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Permiss, at POW1047. Shout out to Fame, Plan B Marketing in the building. Shout out to my man Profit Productions and the man of the hour. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be clear. First time I came across this gentleman had to be about 5 years ago. I mean, he was like he blitzed the internet. Marketing campaign was just crazy. I'm like, who is this guy right here? Videos galore and just reps the city real hard. None other than my man Mullyman live in the building, fresh off the plane. How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, man.
Wow,
good,
man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, man, not a problem, man. What you been up to, man?
Oh, man, just working hard, man. Down there in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, repping hard for Be More, the whole DMV, you know what I'm saying. While I was down there, I put out 2 projects. The project with Who Kid, Mullyman versus the Machine. Then after that, I put out Fan Mail. And now I'm working on the current project, and the current single is Walk You Down. Y'all gonna hear that a little bit later.
Okay.
But yeah, man, and just, you know, just making music and in town to do this show with my man Profit down at the 5 Seasons tonight, man. Some surprise Baltimore All-Stars gonna be coming out. A lot of people been hitting my phone. Right. And we gonna shut it down tonight and just
man, let me tell you, so I was telling you this off air, right? My man, I grew up with him. He down in the land. Shout out my man DJ Maestro. He calls me and he's like, yo, you heard of this cat, Mully, man? He says he's from Baltimore or something. I'm like, yeah, I know Mully. He's like, yeah. I'll keep hearing his name down there. Name is ringing bells. He's buzzing. So obviously you're doing something right.
Hey, man. Yeah, I'm working hard, man. Like, you live one life, man. You gotta get your life, man. And I just believe, like, if you supposed to do something, you might as well do
it. Yeah, absolutely, man. Tell us what your situation is like right now. You know what I'm saying? Record labels, tours, anything like that, what you working on?
Yeah, it's crazy because it's like I'm in one of those weird spaces where everybody thinks I'm signed. I'm signed to myself. But I'm having I've been signed to myself. I've never been signed to nobody. So all those records you heard, I put out.
Wait a minute. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, he said he's signed to himself. Yeah. Understand that takes hard work and dedication. Yeah. Let's bring it back. Go ahead. Okay.
Yeah, like signed to myself, you know what I'm saying? And but I'm cool with everybody. So I'm in that space where the situation could change if someone could make better sense than my own situation. But as of right now, man, I'm just concentrating on making music and doing good business and not worried about the label or being signed or having a certain chain around my neck, man. I just want to put out good music and keep making those moves.
Mully, I like your attitude. It's always been positive, proactive. What I want to do, I want to get into this joint with you and Fat Trell called Take the Hood. How did you and Fat Trell hook up? Because he's making a lot of noise right now.
Yeah, it's crazy because it was like, it was an unlikely, like we've never been compared, you know, like people would never expect for us to just come together out the blue like that. Right. DJ Gemini was like, yo, I think it'd be dope if you and Fat Trell did a record. You know what I mean? Like to show that whole DMV love right there. And he's burning up the streets in DC, me repping for Be More, just to show more of that that unity and how much talent is here. We thought it'd be a dope collabo, so
which it was. You guys really meshed together, sound great.
Yeah.
Who's on the production?
That's unbelievable.
Okay.
Yeah, unbelievable on the track, and it just came out real good, man. We sent them the track. He sent his verse right back, and yeah, man, it was just love.
All right, let's get right into it. When we come back, I want to talk about, you know, because you spent some time in Atlanta. I want to talk about that. Of course, I'm going to talk about your new projects you're working on, and just how can people interact with Mullyman. You know what I'm saying? He's here, ladies and gentlemen. POW1047.com. Let's get it right into it. Mullyman, Fat Trell, Take the Hood. Let's go.
Yeah.
Fat Trell, Mullyman, join us called Take the Hood. Yeah. Definitely a certifiable banger right there. Absolutely, thanks, man. No problem, man. POW1047.com, the future hip hop and R&B, your man Permiss. Mullyman live in the studio. Yeah. Big show going down tonight. Tell us a little bit about this show. What can the folks expect from your performance tonight, man?
Oh, man, it's going to be epic. If you know me, then you know that I give all that I have every time I touch that stage, man. And that's what I do, man. Tonight I'm going to show out for the city, you know what I mean? I'm going to show out just for you know what I mean, for the DMV, for Be More, you know what I mean. A lot of people talking about coming through. We're gonna have a lot of Be More All-Stars in the building.
No doubt.
You know, some surprise guests in the building. We just gonna have a whole lot of fun, man. You know what I mean? I like to just not perform, but to party as well, and just have a event that people can go home and say that they had a great experience, something to remember for a lifetime.
Right, absolutely,
you know
man.
what I mean?
Well, let me ask you this question. Recently, you migrated from Baltimore to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Had some time to spend down there. We was talking about it off air about the level, the culture, because it's a different culture down there versus the culture in the DMV.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. For example, when you got down there, what was your mindset? What was your goal? What did you intend on when you went down there?
When I went down there, my goal was to get closer to the people that I needed to be closer to. Like it's a lot of the people that run the game down there live there. You know what I mean? As far as like the program director for MTV Jams, my man Steve Ray's for All Hip Hop, my man Jeff over there at DTP, my man Amir over there at Grand Hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all these people I can be closer to now. And while I'm down there in Atlanta, it's just everybody has a home in Atlanta that's doing something in the business. You know what I mean? But they have a home. They usually reside in Atlanta, New York, and out in LA. So my goal to get to Atlanta was to say, all right, the South is really the pulse of the, you know what I mean, the pulse of where the music is at right now as far as the radio and the youth and everything. Let me get down there, figure out, you know, what they doing, what's their business model to make this happen.
Right.
Then be closer to the people I need to be close to, and then at the same time lift that ceiling off of a place that I pretty much had beat to death. Like I did everything I could in Baltimore.
Right.
So new atmosphere, new energy, closer to business people that I could do big and better business with, and then understand a model that obviously is working.
Right.
Because you know the South, they doing that thing.
Do you find that the business ethic of networking is so powerful? It's not what you know, who you know down there, because you're just touching hands with so many different people?
Yeah, it's a combination of it. It's no cookie cutter way.
Right.
It's who you know plus your work ethic, because who you know only matters if you're doing something.
Right.
So if who you know don't matter if you ain't doing nothing.
Right.
Like take for instance a dude like 2 Chainz who was signed to DTP.
Right.
Obviously he knew Ludacris.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
But it really didn't. He really didn't cash in to being 2 Chainz till he became 2 Chainz,
Right.
and it was based off of what he was doing.
Right.
Then all the relationships that he had meant so much more because of his grind.
Right.
And that's the way you gotta. That's the way you gotta think of it. You gotta be on your grind, and at the same time reaching out and linking with these different people.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you get your grind in motion,
Mm-hmm.
where it means enough for all those relationships to mean more.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you wanna. That's how you wanna work.
What's the level of independent artists? Their level of grind. I mean, I know it's universal. Each independent artist has their own way of getting their craft out there. As we was talking off air, it just seems like a new artist out of Atlanta comes out at least once a month.
Well, it's because of the support system. The support system is down there is that they understand the grind, and then the people that understand what you have to do to make an artist big. So what happens is, like, you have all these award shows and all these people that fly in Atlanta to party to see what's popping. And when they come to Atlanta, you hear these dudes in the club. These dudes are, you know, making money locally. They have a hit on the radio station there. You know what I mean? You have the community behind these people. They make a name. People rally behind that. And what happens is when you come to Atlanta, you gotta respect that. They make you respect that. You know what I mean? And you know that's kind of like what's missing here.
What do you think is the missing element? Like you said, missing here is the support. But what else do you think is missing here versus there? And do you think this city or this region will ever adopt what Atlanta has as far as the level of support, etc.?
Yeah, well, the difference is, all right, you know, radio is hard everywhere, but what you go through once you establish yourself, like an artist of a certain caliber that's established here doesn't get the same radio support necessarily, and doesn't get the same support all the time that an artist that will establish itself to a lesser, not even as much as somebody more established that did more here.
Right.
They might get supported more by the radio there, and so the people rally behind it because they understand it is promoted in the through the radio,
Right.
through the DJs. Everybody's on one accord on what to do.
It's not a lot of red tape.
Yeah. So it's like it's set up. Like they have it set up that all right, you start building a buzz. Instead of me trying to stomp you out, like say a DJs are not trying to stomp the artist out to be the biggest artist in Atlanta.
Got you.
In Baltimore, you have DJs trying to be bigger than the artist. So what you have is instead of, but there they understand that the bigger you get, the more money I can make off of you. We get big together. When somebody come from out of town, they got to respect this whole entity. We all making money. Here in Baltimore, it's more or less like everybody feels like we can't let the next person up. The DJs have to control it, you know what I mean? So a lot of times you might have, you go take your song to the radio, but you competing with the dude on the radio who got his own song.
Makes sense.
You know what I'm saying? Who want to control the clubs, and that's why I stay small. No one has ever, and then when people come here, if you notice, artists get booked from outside of here, and they're not forced to respect it because the promoters don't say, all right, we got you booked with this such and such artist. Usually the artist that's opening up for the artist coming out of town getting paid has to pay to get on the show.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's not we don't force respect is taken, not given. So until we force people to respect us, especially the outside world that's looking in, until we force them to respect us, you're not gonna get the respect.
It's a conversation that I think it definitely needs to be heard. One of the things when I came to this city is I was fascinated by the fact of Baltimore and DC being so close together, but they so spread out.
Yeah.
Like when I go across 295, it's like I'm in a different world. It is like Hollywood in DC. I ain't even gonna lie.
Yeah.
I have a good time. But go ahead.
But this is what I say about that. Like as a Baltimorean, the first thing I did when I started making my moves is I said, all right. For the world looking in, they look at this whole, they see regions. So for this to make sense to them, the DMV made perfect sense to me. But a lot of people on the DC side and the Baltimore side chose to stay separate. But if you look at where my success came from, my success came from being inclusive, not exclusive. I reached out to Tabby Bonet and I made MTV. He's a DC cat. I reach out to Fat Trell, my fan base expands. To all his fans, he gets all the Mullyman fans, I get all the Fat Trell fans, we bring it together.
Cornerstone marketing.
Yeah. So, you know what I mean? Like, so even though it's worlds apart because that's people's perspective. It depends on how you look at it. Because I look at it like you 25 minutes up the street. Why shouldn't I be? That's my money too. You know, we can eat together. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I wouldn't have it any other way. And my track record shows that. So if you look at, I did stuff with the DJ Gemini, the DMV Dream Team. Where we had Don Juan, White Folks, Kingpin Slim, Goretti, myself, Scar, Smash. You know what I'm saying?
That was dope. As a matter of fact,
Bossman,
as a matter of fact, we played it on Groundhog Radio for quite some time when we got it, and that was a fashion. Speaking of that, will you guys ever get something going on again, record again? Or?
Yeah, I just was talking to White Folks. Me and Don Juan perform in DC together tomorrow at DJ Heat's event. You know, Goretti, that's my man. Of course, you know Smash, Scar, and Bossman. You know what I mean? Like Baltimore, I support anything from Baltimore that's making any types of moves. You know what I'm saying? So, I'm all for the Baltimore movement, and I'm all for that DMV movement, man. Anybody that's grinding and we in the same direction and we look up, we in that same space, let's make it happen.
You heard it first right here. My man Mullyman, I like it. Like I said before, I like his attitude. Progression, and most of all, he's positive, man. We'll be right back. Keep it locked right here. It is Power1047.com. Live inside Back to the Basics. Let's go. So, in our last segment, we'll talk about the show.